music, great company right here on TRAXXfm. Hi there, if you just happen to join us on the show. This is Gilbert here together with my producer, Sam. We'll be with you through momentum right up to 2 o'clock, but I'll be here with you for chill. Also, there will be 5. So it's going to be good music, good company, keeping you entertained right here on TRAXXfm. Now, as you know, we have a very special interview for today, and on momentum, our topic today is Skim Keselamatan Sosial Pekerjaan Sendiri, and we'll be talking to our guest in the studio. I'd like to get to know her, and an introduction to Gayathri Vadivel, who is the Head of Employment Services Division, the Employment Insurance Office, Social Security Organisation, Malaysia. And a very good morning to you, Gayathri. It's been a very long time. Happy New Year.
Yes, in fact, thank you and for inviting me. So once again, it's really great to be back here at TRAXXfm. And Happy New Year to you and to all the TRAXXfm listeners as well.
Thank you, Gayathri. Gayathri, just for the information of our listeners, Gayathri, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your responsibility in Perkeso?
Okay, sure. So I head the Employment Services Division. So my purview is looking into providing active labour market programs, looking at uplifting the quality of jobs that can be provided to job seekers out there, not just beneficiaries of Perkeso, but looking from school leavers to professionals as well.
Right.
So we run a lot of initiatives, not just open interviews. We have the portal My Future Jobs as well that provides instantaneous matches with job seekers who register with us.
Right.
All services are provided for free, but we also have specific focus group programs. For example, we do focused interviews for university students, provide internship programs. We go down to universities and we do employability programs to educate what the industry expectations are.
Right.
We've also started penetrating to schools, primary schools, secondary schools, because what we see is that the current labour market situation is not well understood at the ground level. So
Yes.
we go down, we meet the career counsellors, train them, and share the data that we have so that the students will be able to map their career better as well. And also, of course, in all this, there's a lot of policy interventions that's required. So on my side, we continue to look at policy interventions, programs, initiatives to uplift the labour market. So in a nutshell, that's what my purview is. But of course, being in SOXO, I also have to look at all the other, in terms of the groups that we have to manage. For example, persons with disabilities, after an accident, we have to help them get back to work.
Okay.
And today we're going to talk about the gig. We'll be sharing with you some of the initiatives we do as well. So we look, basically we do not leave anyone behind. Yeah.
Wow, that's so much responsibilities handled by Perkeso itself, and of
That's
course
right.
by an individual who is in charge of certain departments. And for those of you who just happen to be with us, we are on social media platforms. That is on TikTok, which is TRAXXfm Official, Facebook Live, TRAXXfm, and of course YouTube, TRAXXfm Official. So you can talk to us, you can probably say hello, or maybe even wish Gayathri a Happy New Year, Happy 2025, and let's see the direction of Perkeso this year. As you know that Perkeso was always there during our bad times. Yes, remember during the World Health Crisis, and it was Perkeso who was aiding people in need, especially in the employment sector. And with all those initiatives that Perkeso has done, let's see what else has Perkeso in store for us in the year 2025. Gayathri, could you explain to our listeners what the Self-Employment Social Security Act 2017 or the Act 789 is all about, and why is it important for self-employed persons?
Sure. So I think, Gilbert, you rightfully mentioned just now, we talked about the pandemic, the crisis that we had. And, the phenomenon itself of self-employment has grown in the recent years due to various factors, apart from COVID itself, economic shifts, as we speak about.
Okay.
There are a lot of gig economic expansion. We have platforms like Grab, Foodpanda, Shopee, name it, that has created a lot of opportunities for self-employed individuals out there. And we have digital entrepreneurship as well, where we have social media, e-commerce platforms that aids or enables Malaysians to start businesses with very easy access to starting a job as an entrepreneur. And today we have many Malaysians. I think maybe COVID is kind of the I would say the inducer for flexibility, because at that point of time there were a lot of people working hybrid, and there were a lot of flexible work that was arranged. So, and the preference for flexibility has increased, and it really allows I would say freelancers or self-employed individuals to balance their schedule better in terms of family responsibilities, and it's become a preference. And with all this, I mean, not just in Malaysia, but if you look at the global statistics itself, International Labour Organization shows that there's more than 60% of the world's employed population that work in the informal sector. And we have increase in platforms from, previously in 2010, we only had 142 platforms out there.
Okay.
But today we have more than 1,000 platforms that's offering, gig kind of platforms,
Right.
Self-employed related platforms. But the concern is that when we look at the protection that we have for, not just in Malaysia, but I'm talking about global statistics, statistics indicate that less than 60% platform workers have health insurance.
Okay.
15% have employment protection, and only 20% have retirement savings. And for gig workers, only 40% have health insurance, and more than 69% have no employment protection. And that's something that's really worrying. And only 23% have retirement savings. So, and if we cross-section to Malaysia, looking at the number of self-employed that we have, DOSM statistics in 2023 indicated that we have 2.95 million from our total working population of 16.3 million. So you can see that the growing, the trend is really increasing. We have more gig workers, but at the same time, there are a lot of risks involved in which why, we were just there in time to ensure that we have the scheme just before COVID to be there to provide the cushion and the safety net for gig workers who were affected, especially during the pandemic. Yeah.
So it started actually before,
just in time. I think of course visionary of our leadership, the government in really pushing us to have a protection scheme to ensure that no one is left out of the safety net. In the case of any adversity.
Right.
So just
and
in
how
time.
lucky everybody was, right?
Definitely.
When you all implemented the concept. And then it was the the
Correct.
lockdowns and things like
Exactly.
that, and you all were there ready to help
Correct.
out these people.
Correct.
So time played a very important
Definitely.
factor. It all fell in place in the right time.
Surely.
Thank you so much to Perkeso for that, because it did save a lot of people's lives.
Definitely.
Gayathri, what is the main objective of implementing the Self-Employment Social Security Act? And how does it benefit self-employed individuals?
Yeah. So I mean, I spoke about the risk about many not having employment protection. But when you look at self-employed individuals, although we have the freedom and flexibility, but it comes with a lot of unique risks and challenges.
Okay.
And this risk can impact financial stability, personal health, long-term goals if not managed effectively. So, for example, we look at financial risks. If we see self-employed individuals having to work, and their income may of course fluctuate due to inconsistencies of the demand. Sometimes this economic situation also can affect. So, and in terms of employee benefits, they do not really have much of employee benefits provided because technically they do not have an employer.
Okay.
They're technically on their own.
Right.
So they would have to cover their healthcare costs, and if anything were to happen to them, they really have to use whatever savings that they have in order to defray whatever costs that they have. And there are also sometimes unpaid work. I mean, I was just looking at the TikTok and some social medias. The frustrations of self-employed individuals. Sometimes, we have clients who, request for items cash on delivery, and then they go to the houses with the product that's been ordered, and the customer is not at home, and they have to end up paying. So there are a lot of financial risks involved. So that's one of it. In terms of job security is also another concern. In terms of, they do not have a full-time job. There's no guaranteed paycheck, redundancy benefits in challenging times. So these are also some of the challenges. So, like I said, just in time, we thought that that's something that we really need to provide for self-employed individuals, that at least during the time that they are at work, we cover them if anything had happened in the course of employment. So we look at two areas in which we cover them. One is personal injuries arising out of employment while they're at work, they're carrying out their duties. We also cover occupational disease as well. So we have a fifth schedule, which is under our main parent act, in which occupational diseases arising, for example, if they're exposed to a lot of dust and maybe the risk of toxic kind of chemicals that has caused cancer, for example.
Right.
So, and that's classified under an occupational disease. We also cover that, and we consider that as an employment injury as well.
Okay. So, well explained. Thank you so much, Gayathri, for that. Wow, it's so extensive. Okay, there's so much that an employer needs to know when it comes to what are the benefits his staffs can receive and things like that. Wow, okay. Gayathri, moving on. Could you explain the informal sectors eligible to register and contribute under the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme? Perhaps some sectors that are less commonly known, if you would like to elaborate on that.
Sure, sure. So we really started with passenger transportation and good and food transportation. So it became mandatory as we enacted the act, especially for taxi drivers, e-hailing, bus drivers. But in 2020, we expanded the scheme to 19 other informal sector workers, which includes agriculture, livestock, manufacturing, online businesses, making it a total of 20 sectors. So some of the unique ones would be, I would say, data processing, professional services, fisheries, construction, beauty and healthcare. So in total, 20 sectors that we do cover. And just a recent development on the sectors in which became mandatory would be the hawker sectors now is also gazetted as the newest mandatory contributing sector. So when they have to renew their license and so on, there will be a mechanism to ensure that they have contributed and we have ensured that they are protected for the self-employed scheme.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are developments that we will continue because it's a voluntary scheme in general, except for the transportation sector that I mentioned. But the risks involved in the other sectors are also similar to the risks involved for transportation sector. So, but we will slowly look at how we will start increasing the compliance or the mandatory sectors that we need to, in terms of expansion. But we are going slow. And we will gradually get there, but a lot of awareness, a lot of stories that we need to share out there on the importance of all of them being protected for the self-employed scheme.
Right. So that's how important Perkeso plays an important role to employees, and of course how the employer should be getting the employees registered and so on and so forth. Gayathri, one last question here before we take a short song break. Could you briefly share the benefits provided under the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme? Why are these benefits important?
Okay, sure. So we cover quite a number of benefits. Among them, we have medical benefits in which if there's any employment injury, we would pay them based on the Fees Act 1951. And if there's a temporary disablement, for example, it's a short period of time after an injury that they are not able to continue. So that includes a minimum 4 days medical leave given by the medical practitioner, and they'll be given a temporary disabled benefit for that. But what if the disability is something that is permanent, where there is incapacitation, for example? So there is also additional benefit provided. I would say the payment rate is up to 90% of the selected insurance monthly earnings that we have provided. And the third one will be dependence benefits. So if there's anything that had happened to our beneficiary receiving benefits, then the benefits will be transferred to the dependents of the individual concerned. The fourth one would be constant attendance allowance. So if as a self-employed, after an injury, they're not able to manage themselves, we provide 500 ringgit per month to the individual or the carer who's helping the individual, the self-employed individual. So that at least, of course, when you are not able to manage yourself, you need a carer, and of course, getting a domestic helper, can be a bit challenging, but at least a carer, we're giving them 500 ringgit for the purpose of caring as well. And in the event if the person has passed away, we also provide funeral benefits up to 3,000 ringgit. So one-off benefit is provided, so that helps defray whatever costs incurred during the funeral. And apart from that, we also have facilities for physical and vocational rehabilitation. So if there's something that happened and the individual requires active rehabilitation, so rehabilitation is also covered. We provide prosthesis. So for example, a rider has met with an accident and lost his leg, for instance, we provide them right up to the prosthesis, looking at the rehabilitation and also integration of them going back to work as well. So a lot of benefits out there with a very minimum contribution of between 157 ringgit right up to 592 ringgit per annum, depending on the package that you get. And the range of benefits that we provide is really extensive. So people don't see that, but the premiums are small, but the coverages are big. And that's something that we hope listeners out there who are self-employed protect themselves with this scheme.
Right. Very important, because I'm part of the scheme when I run my own businesses and things like that. Yeah, it's very important, and I've seen how it has helped when we were in need. Thank you so much to Perkeso. Taking a short break, we'll be back with more of the questions that we have to put out to Gayathri. We're talking to our guests in the studios, Gayathri Vadivel, Skim Keselamatan Sosial Pekerjaan Sendiri, Perkeso, how important it is. And just to let you know that Gayathri is the head of Employment Services Division, Employment Insurance Office, Social Security Organisation, Malaysia. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. This is Trax Momentum on a Friday, today's edition, the 10th of January. My producer Zam, together with myself here, Gilbert, wishing you a pleasant morning. Stay tuned. Hi there, welcome back to the show. A very good morning. This is Gilbert here together with my producers. I'm with you on Momentum. It's a very special interview on a Friday. Today's edition, the 10th of January. And topic for today, Skim Keselamatan Sosial Pekerjaan Sendiri. So we're talking to our guests in the studios, Gayathri Vadivel, Head of Employment Services Division, Employment Insurance Office, Social Security Organisation, Malaysia, and how important it is for Perkeso. And of course, we were talking to Gayathri with a couple of questions much earlier, just before our track, and diving into more of the questions. Gayathri, welcome to the show, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Gilbert, once again.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Gayathri, getting on to our questions here. The latest statistics on the number of active contributors under the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme. Could you just tell us a little bit more about this one here? What is it?
Sure. We have in total 727,094 since the scheme was enacted in 2017.
Okay.
And they are all active contributors for the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme, which we call it Sksps in short, basically.
Okay.
And from this total, about 502,757 contributors are those who are receiving assistance through government initiatives. So a lot of matching contributions were also part of, in terms of the government mooting self-employed, or to encourage them to come to the scheme by having the matching contributions. So this initiative targets about 872,000 self-employed persons to receive protection. And I think, like I shared earlier, in terms of the numbers, it's a on an increasing trend.
Yes.
A lot of people are coming forward. We have a lot of people, I would say volunteers or those good Samaritans who are actually coming out there who want to provide grants and sponsor self-employed individuals. We have some platforms do it even for them, for the self-employed individuals. So we are encouraging more to come forward to actually be part of, being involved in increasing the protection for self-employed workers in particular.
Okay, so there you go. Just to give you a little highlight on the other responsibilities, especially when it comes to self-employment. What additional initiative have Perkeso introduced in 2024, last year and this year's budget, to help self-employed persons or individuals to contribute under this scheme?
Sure. So in total, since especially the pandemic, like I said, there were many benefits, but each year out, we try to improve and strengthen the benefits that's provided. So the latest one that we have for 2025 includes SPS Madani 2.0, and this targets groups like PDRM volunteers, the Angkatan Tentera Malaysia, Fire Department, RELA, Maritime, Civil Defence, and Community Supervisors. And additionally, there's an SPS contribution matching program that provided throughout 11 target groups. So, and the 2025 budget, where the government's committed to provide more social protection for individuals who are under the self-employed sector. They have allocated up to 100 million in terms of matching grants for self-employed individuals.
Okay.
And this is where the government will cover 70% of the contribution amount, while self-employed individuals are only focusing to be contributing 30%, which is a very nominal amount. And the substantial investment highlights the government's focus on building a robust society, increasing the safety net for informal sector workers. And not just that, but other programs that we have, apart from providing contributions, looking at the safety aspect, we believe that employment is also an important safety net.
Okay.
Like if you need to be employed, you receive your wages, and you have that protection. Sometimes there are self-employed individuals who may not be able to continue themselves being a self-employed individual.
Okay.
Maybe in terms of funding, or in terms of the capacity, or whatever situation in which as they went along, they may have felt, I want to go back to the formal sector, or I would like to transit, to the formal sector. So we also have programs through My Future Jobs for the self-employed individuals, in which we provide transition programs where we profile the self-employed individuals who are interested. We see what their career progression, or what their career interest is like, and then we match them with employers who are willing to hire individuals who are from the self-employed. So we do have interviews on a day-to-day basis in most of our SOXO offices, our satellite centers. So self-employed individuals out there, those who you may be frustrated of working as a self-employed individual for a long time, or you may want to do both. you can always, come over to any of the SOCSO offices and meet our employment services officers to ask for assistance for employment. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So again, my experiences, I still get my emails coming in.
Okay.
Individuals that are looking for jobs, and
Correct.
it still comes to the businesses that I personally run.
Okay,
So yeah,
that's
that's something which is amazing, and it's already 4 years, and it keeps coming, and then sometimes they even say that this particular job is not matching and things
Yeah,
like that
correct.
and all that. So being so efficient till today, 4 years from the time I registered right up till today, Perkeso has been always updating. Thank you so much. Now, when it comes to events, upcoming events, so let's hear from Gayathri. Gayathri, any updates or important details about the upcoming Perkeso Career Carnival that our listeners should be excited about?
Sure.
We were talking about this off air just
Yeah, correct. There are a lot of things happening for 2025. So
Okay.
listeners out there, we have not just career fairs, but we have we're going to be launching our mobile mobile app for My Future Jobs. We have a career exploration center that we will be launching quite soon.
right?
But apart from that, the signature that we always have in terms of active labor market programs
Mhm,
includes not just the interviews that we run on a day-to-day basis where we invite companies to provide employment opportunities.
Right.
We also organize a large-scale career fair. So in
Okay.
total last year we had 40 over large career fairs,
Okay.
and in total 4,000 interview programs, related programs to be offered throughout Malaysia.
Right.
And the big ones that's happening today or tomorrow as we speak
Mm-hmm.
is going to be held at Bagan Datuk
Okay.
on the 11th and 12th, and we have it's going to be held at Datuk Haji Abdullah Ahmad Multipurpose Hall at Hutan Melintang, Perak. So I would like to invite all job seekers, the self-employed individuals, just anyone who's seeking employment opportunities or even looking at career progressions, wanting to change a career, for example, to come over to Datuk Haji Abdullah Ahmad Multipurpose Hall at Hutan Melintang, Perak.
Mm-hmm.
From 8 to 5 p.m. There are a lot of employers joining out there. There are about 20. Among them are, even SOCSO's Rehabilitation Center is one of the participating employers. We've got Yamaha, Sony, HealthLink Services, Imperial Asia, and many more that we will be having more than 1,500 positions that will be offered on the day. Not
Okay.
just that, I was just told that we even have Counter Saman that's going to be
Okay.
featured there. Jualan
Discounts.
Madani as well.
Yes.
Lots of activities, exciting activities that's going to be held at Bagan Datuk.
Okay, so this is going to be like Perkeso's first big event.
That's right.
Okay, for the year. All right, and it's happening in Perak. That's Bagan Datuk. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow and the after.
The after tomorrow. So it's the 11th and the 12th of January. And Gayathri, for more information or assistance with regards to self-employment, social security scheme, or any Perkeso services, how could an individual get in touch with Perkeso? Is there any website or anything like that?
Sure. So for those who are interested in contributing for the self-employed scheme,
Right.
we have multiple channels. So one of it is our Matrix portal, in which you can register at https /matrix.perkeso.gov.my. We have our Perkeso application, a Prihatin application,
Okay.
and we have cash payments that also can be done. So we make it easy for self-employed individuals.
Cash payments, is this something that was recently introduced? or
It's
was
been
it,
there for
it's
some
been
time
there
already,
around?
but this
Okay.
is to help reduce the burden of our self-employed individuals. So we try to
Right.
increase or make it
Much
ease
more
the access.
easy, yeah.
Exactly. But if you have general information that you may need,
Mhm.
you can always contact our Perkeso hotline at 1300
Mhm.
222 8000, and we will be ready to answer your questions.
Okay. Could you just repeat the number again?
Yeah, it's
Gayathri?
1300
Okay.
22 8000.
8,000. Okay,
That's
there
right.
you go. Look at me. I'm also taking down those notes. Okay, I'm going to have a call and yes, get myself updated, because that's something that every individual, I think, if you just happen to be self-employed, should be doing, right? Gayathri,
right.
thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Gayathri, for being here with us. And don't forget, it is tomorrow, the 11th and 12th. If you happen to be one of those who are seeking something or probably a career, or you would like to know more about Perkeso, they'll be at Bagan Datuk, Perak, and that's the Perkeso Career Carnival. So not only booths from Perkeso, but you also will be having other activities
That's right.
happening
Plenty
there.
of activities.
So there you go. All that, much more, and for more info and for more details, do call the hotline Perkeso 1300 22 8000.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Gayathri, for
Thank you,
joining
Gilbert.
us.
Thank you once again.
Thank you. Gayathri Vadivel, Head of Employment Services Division, Employment Insurance Office, Social Security Organisation Malaysia, Skim Keselamatan Sosial Pekerjaan Sendiri. This is our topic, our special interview of the day on Momentum. Thank you so much for tuning into TRAXXfm. We've got news coming up on top of the hour. It's Gilbert here with my producer Zam, and to those of you who happen to be joining us on our social media platform, that's on TikTok, Facebook, and also on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here with us. Back in a bit. Good music, keeping you entertained.